Running on gravel. God has given us 4 seasons in the year, but the one I have always liked best is summer. Spring, fall, and winter each have great merit, but I am just prejudiced towards summer. The days are warm and fair, and the summer breeze is cooling. An occasional storm blows up, bringing with it some rain to water the plants. What a pleasant season! But let me tell you of one of my memories of the summer days a long, long time ago when Grandpa was a little boy and living on the farm. We were poor, and things, including shoes, were rationed because of the war effort. And you can see a story about that on page 158. So, much of the summer I would go barefoot, which saved on shoe wear. I did wear shoes, though, whenever I was working on the farm equipment. When you read about Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn, they are barefooted much of the time. The feet get dirty, but they can be washed. John 13 records the story of Jesus washing and wiping the feet of the disciples, for they had traveled along dusty roads. Going barefoot toughened up the soles of my feet so that I was able to run on gravel. We had a gravel lane, and Tommy and I did not think a thing about walking or even running to the mailbox on that gravel. I have one memory when running on gravel which did not turn out well. I was running for the mail when I stubbed my big toe on a stone. A half-inch flap of skin was peeled back from my toe with dirt and sand collecting in the wound. The worst part of the ordeal was when my mother washed up the wounded area, put mercurochrome on the exposed cut, and then bandaged it up. I wondered how tough I really was. However, by the providence of God, that too healed. Just as feet toughen by going barefooted, a man's hands become calloused by hard work. Tough skin and calluses are protection from injury. However, in the process, some blisters may occur to those soft parts. Wearing shoes on the feet is like wearing gloves on the hands. They prevent this toughening process to some degree. I am now old and gray and can hardly walk across the wooden floor in comfort without shoes for protection. But if I needed to, I could toughen up my feet, maybe not to the extent that I could run on gravel, but at least better than I do now. And speaking of feet, there is the old story of the attitudes of 2 shoe salesmen who considered going to Africa. One was a pessimist who said, "Business would be terrible, for no one wears shoes." Thus, he never went. The other man was an optimist who declared, "Business should be wonderful, for everyone needs shoes." When facing life's ventures, are you an optimist or a pessimist? And speaking of attitudes, there is a sign on the wall of the St. Mary's Gymnasium in DeKalb which says, "Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching?" Think about that a bit.